All right. So welcome everybody, Sunday Prep. I hope you guys can make a lot of nice trades based on the prep, just like we did last week. This was our key zone for the S&P, and look what happened. We came right back down to our lower zone. Right now, we bounced off our daily zone right down here. We gapped up, came back down, retested, and then we have this very big reaction to that hold, the hold of the zone. So let's mark it up. I wish we had started this prep when this was basing inside the zone. So you could have seen this, this happen, this pivot bounce here. Our key resistance zone is going to be right above here for this week. We're going to have it right here at 31.55, 31.60. This is going to be the zone to beat. Now we already know that the bottom of the zone, it rejected the first time last week. So what we want to see is to get inside the zone, hold the retest, and then push to the upper level of this zone. Now, if we push a little bit over it, what it needs to happen is a hold of the top. We really need to lose the zone back down. Let me write this a little bit. If we lose this, then we can't potentially have that setup that we always talk about. Push through, can't hold, retest, and come back down, right? So ideally for bulls, this needs to happen. Right now, the key support is going to be right here, which was a pivot as well Friday, that it was very well recognized. That was our main zone for Friday. Friday? Yes. I'm sorry, I lost track because of the holiday. Yes, Friday. So let's keep this as our key support at the moment. You guys can see it is reacting a little bit to this pivot. That's an intraday speed bump, what I call the SB. If you're in the chat and you see I'm typing SB, this is a SB right now. So it just needs to break and hold it to retest the bottom of this zone. If it comes back down, it needs to do the same thing as it happened here. It needs to hold the bottom. So it needs to hold this in order to go. Right there. Now, for any reason, somebody's asking something. My audio is lagging a bit. Oh, that's not good. I'll try to speak a little bit slower. So if we reject if we can't hold the back down, the back test to this zone, we're most likely going to retest the bottom that it needs to hold. If this doesn't hold, our last line of defense is going to be 31.38, 31.43. I know it's a very close zone. So what we could do, let's divide that in two. Have this as our I'm gonna to expand the zone a little bit here to include this one. And the last line of defense is going to be down here at 31, what is this? 31.37, 31.38, 42. Let me change this real quick. And as well, one thing to keep in mind is that starting a new month, we have new projections. Our pivots are going to reset and give you new projections. So the key levels we're going to watch for this month is going to be 31.10 and 31.88. So those are the next pivots for the month, right in the middle. So let's use the, you gotta be using the lower time frames to make sure of the direction. So right now, for this to go potentially here, we first need to hold above 31.38. If we can hold, we have a good case in our hands that we're gonna go test is 31.04, 31.10 level. Let's check natural gas. As everybody knows, we are swinging natural gas. And doing good right now. I think my entry on UGas was, I wanna say, let me check real quick. If I see it, I will remember. Let's just check this real quick. My entry was 924. That's where I entered. So I was down on the after hours about 24, about 70 cents. And now we are up. We ended the day up a little bit. It closed at 9. The problem was that I also have a boil call into December. So the problem I got in early was that I was using a broker to swing this, that it doesn't have extended hours. So I had to enter before the market closed. And as you guys can see, bounced right off our zone here. That was the ideal entry, but I couldn't risk for this to happen after hours, which it did. So it was a good decision to get in before the market closed. Now, it really, really needs to break above this. This is a very, very strong zone right here, which is 2.355, 2.372. Now, if we open the market and we are trading inside, I'm gonna have a stop loss right below it, most likely around here. And if we're trading above the zone it opens, I am gonna have a stop loss below the top of my zone. Now, if you don't have a position yet, my advice to you is wait until tomorrow, of course, unless you're trading futures. If you're trading futures right now, watch for this zone as your key zone, and this is gonna be your key resistance zone. Now, let's check. It's looking pretty good so far. I just don't like that it's doing this movement already. At this time of the night, we have so many hours till the open. But as long as it holds the zone, we'll be fine. Let's see. Also on this zone, you see here, that is the channel down That's the bottom of that channel down we were following. So we have double things in here. You have the daily zone, you have the higher time frame zone, you have this trend line. Hopefully it comes here. That would be nice to see it, a retest of this 50 moving average. This is the 50 moving average for the 15-minute chart. And I have also this zone right there. So it will be a nice magnetic point if it gets there. What I do like about it is that our main level for the week is 2.431. So we may still have a retest to that zone before we have another pull back down. So what I'm saying is that usually 75% of the times we revert to this pivot here every single week. Now, if you are longing from here and it gets here, I would advise to take a little piece off or trail your stop down, trail below the zone or trail below a 1 hour candle once it breaks the low in a 1 hour candle or a 4 hour candle, something higher time frame. Don't use a 5 minute or 1 minute at all on this. And if we can break above that, that is going to show a very nice strength on natural gas for this week. So far today, this week, we're trading on the bearish side. So when you're trading, you have to be aware of what is your current situation, right? I am long, but I am aware that for the week, we are still on bearish territory. So once it gets there, I am going to be very careful with my position because it can just reject and go back down. So that would be my advice if you are swinging natural gas. Gold. Gold usually moves inverse of the ES. It doesn't have to, but most of the times it does. The idea behind that, I don't even remember why I drew this, guys. That was last prep. We have to check on the video and see why we draw this. Oh, I remember. We were drawing this based on this action here. All right. But let me delete because it's kind of distracting me a little bit. If you want to see what we're talking about this, just check the last week's prep. So as I was saying, the reason behind is that usually when the market is selling off, investors and traders look into getting into safe zone, which usually is considered buying gold. And when the market is happy, there is no reason to be safe. So people take their money off the gold. I know that's a very basic explanation, but that's basically what it is. Now let me grab a few pivots for you guys. Save this one. Want to mark this. Let's get our key support zone. So our key support zone this week is going to be, let's extend it a little bit. This is going to be the must hold for gold. And we rejected on this 1472 pivot we had it before. This definitely came into play. We couldn't even get there. So right now we're doing the lower highs situation. If it doesn't hold here, then most likely we're gonna do a lower low. For right now, this is a trend line. You can use it to have as your last line of defense if you want to. So if we break the zone and you want to give it another chance, watch for this trend line. If I would say if we go below this 4-hour candle, I will definitely not be in. I'm not in right now, but if I want to try to buy it on the trend line or in the zone, I'll be stopping out right below this 4-hour candle. If I want to go long, then I'll be watching and waiting for a reaction on those levels for sure. Our key resistance is going to be again that 1472.70. And after that, that's the strongest resistance zone or demand zone, if you want to call it. It's 1476, 1479. And you have a bunch of pivots inside. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pivot zones. So it's a very strong one. You guys can see rejected right there, bounce from it right here. Oops, that's too much. So we are watching that for more upside. We are watching this for more downside. So far it's bearish on the day. It needs to be above 1467.50 to try to have a leg up. Oil. Okay. You guys know why I'm laughing. Q is on. No, Q is not on. So we bounce where? Big O. That's our strongest pivot on the board. Look where we bounced. The low of this candle was 55.02. What is the number of this pivot? 55.02. We have been talking about this 55.02 pivot for quite some time. If you're new on the stream, I'm gonna go a quick walkthrough for you. So this is our main zone here for oil for a long time. Every time it goes down, it reverts back to it. Every time it goes up, it comes back to it. So it was a good sign that it bounced again on top, from the top. But if it doesn't reclaim this, and it's not gonna go anywhere. It's right inside that key upper zone. I'm gonna delete this one so we don't have too much top on top. So this is what we're doing right now. We bounce from here and we're testing this. If we can't hold, we're most likely gonna do this. Right there. But again, keep an eye on the 55.02 as always. We just don't want to test it too many times. It may just break this time. So keep an eye on that. Yes, it's bearish on the week, bearish on the month, bearish on the quarter. It's only bullish on the year so far. And bearish on the day. So we have a lot of bearish situation in oil. There's a lot to prove. It needs to break above 56.24. We should talk about it. And ideally above here, 56.37. So let me make this a little bit bigger, just to include our newly pivot right there. So that's the key resistance zone or supply, if you want to call it. And this is the key support right here. Last line of defense is going to be 53.41. But once it's below here and cracks this again, it's going to be a rough situation. Now, if we break above this, we have 56.79, 5705 zone. Then we have the 5740. And after that, we have some room to breathe to 5808, 5848. So there's a lot of overhead in here. Once we conquer that, we may try to go higher. On a swing mind of things, if we can hold above this, we may just test the 6157. Now that may take some time. That's a higher time frame pivot. Now let's start with the member stickers. CCL is the first one. CCL. Earnings on December 19th, so in about 2 weeks and a half. It rejected this pivot so many times, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see one thing. See if we have a trend line here. Now, as you guys know, I don't play trend lines. I just like to see where everybody's standing. Let's check the daily chart real quick. The reason why I don't play trend lines is that they can be so subjective. And I like to be very objective. So if you had this trend line before and it broke, this may be just a retest, right? So that's one of the reasons why I don't play trend lines. Okay, so I can see it that this is a very rough area right here at this 45.62. I can see tested here, kind of wiggle around here, we tested here on this gap down, try to go, just flush it. 1 second. So that's our key resistance right there. That's better. So let's mark key resistance. It's going to be here. Oops. From here to here. So 45.19, 45.62 is our key zone for the upside. And our support line is going to be, let's check here real quick. There we go. Just checking something real quick. Yeah. So key support is going to be down here, 44.76. Where's the white? No, this. 1 second. There you go. So this is going to be our key support zone, 44.76, 44.80. This is almost like a weekly last line of defense on this. Right now, we really need to reclaim the bottom of this zone in order to retest the top. But like I said, this has been a very rough area for CCL. So as long as it stays under, we'll be bearish on it. If it comes back down and bounce on this key support, then I will be willing to buy it for a retest of that. So if we come back down here, it could be a nice spot to buy or retest of this 45.15, 45.19 right here. And if we can reclaim that, then we can trail with a stop loss right below it, like maybe 45.12. If you want to keep it below the previous close line, just to be sure of it. And then once it gets to 45.62, I will definitely take another partial there. And if it holds that and breaks and hold, I'll be looking to 46.13, 46.28. If we break under this, I'll be looking for a retest of 43.94, 44.30. This will be definitely the last line of defense on a swing perspective. If we lose this, most likely we're gonna go down to 43.20, so another 70 cents down, right there, right here. So if you're bullish, wait for this retest and hold, or wait for the reclaim and hold of the bottom of this zone. BYND. Look where we hit, 84.80, our pivot. That was where I called the take a partial right here. That's why I called the take partial. If you're long, take a partial there. We're still bullish if we can stay above here. That's gonna be, oops, that's 80.70, 81.30. So if we come back down, so let me do from the start, rejected. If we come back down here and hold, that would be a very nice position for a push to 87.55. After 87.55, our next zone is going to be 90.12, 92.14. Let's make this a little bit bigger. If we can't hold this, we have a lot of action inside this zone. Yeah, but if you can hold it, then we just may start another leg down. Yeah, I don't like trend lines at all. This doesn't look good. We'll get a week like this, but anyways, let's say you have a trend line here and people are watching this. It's right there inside this zone. So that will be what I'll be watching for BYND. At the moment, I am bullish on it if we hold above this. And looking for a push to 87.55, 92.14, 97.62.99, and then 103.56, 107.81. McDonald's. Also on BYND, just another note. If you have a gap up on this, watch for this 83.23. If we come back down, retest this and hold, then it may be a good spot to take it. It means that it may be not gonna get to 81.30. If we don't, then you're either gonna wait, let's say open in the middle here, you're either gonna wait for a retest of the lower zone or reclaim of that 83.23 that we talked about. Now let's check McDonald's. and rejected at the pivot. Right, we're gonna keep this key support that we have, still gonna be the same. I'm gonna increase a little bit to include the newly pivots, the created pivots. So our key support on this is gonna be 193.33, 193.58, and this is 194.24. It would be nice if this does a higher low. I have this trend line, but it's a long-term one. It comes from other time frame. It's more than 5 years, so that's what we use to play that bounce there. We were watching the zone and we were watching the trend line. It never got to the trend line, it bounced on the zone. So we want this to hold right there. We have this shorter term time frame zone here, trend line, I mean. And it goes right there. So it could be interesting to see if we can retest that as well. Now the key resistance is going to be the same zone. So we're playing both the same zones we were playing. Is 195.80, 196.68. Once that breaks and hold, we're looking at 198.50, 199.12 as a first target. Okay, so it's bouncing here. If we gap up tomorrow above this zone, it's going to be the same thing as BYND. We want to watch the back test to hold and then go long. We don't want to go long right below this zone here. If we are trading here at the open, wait for either a push through and prove that it can hold, excuse me, or a dip to this zone. If we are trading below this daily zone here, we're gonna wait for a retest and fail to grab it, or a reclaim and hold to grab it to here. So it's a very simple play. ULTA. Earnings on the 5th. That's Thursday after market close. All right, so this is going to be our key resistance zone to watch. This is going to be our key zone to watch for support. If we can't hold this, we're most likely going to see a sell into earnings. If we can break and hold above this, we're most likely going to see a buy into earnings. Run into earnings. It's funny how reject the top of it, went to the bottom. So they're undecided what they're going to do with this. It couldn't break above it. It couldn't break below it. It's right in the middle. So, hey, you still have the daily there. So a lot of resistance here, a lot of support here. It's going to be interesting to see who is going to give up. Either going to be the sellers or going to be the buyers that are going to give up on this. If you're looking to buy into earnings, watch for a reclaim at 234.40 to 34.90. If you are looking to sell into earnings before the earnings, right? Then you have to watch this 32.67, 32.76. If you want to write it up a little bit, 237, 232, 28, 237, 232, 28, 232, 76. And it's going to be the same case here. You can partial on your long if you enter here, right over here, or you can take a partial if you're short here on over here, and see if it can give you the continuation. YUM. Now let me check one thing. Let's see, we have expected move, 18 bucks implied move on ULTA. We are on 86% IV on this contract. So that's gonna be sweet to do some option strategies using the implied volatility of the front contracts. It's gonna be very nice. Now with $18, let's put 20 to make it easy. If we in between these two zones here, if we get a $20 move, we are looking at big O, 253.01 to 250.28 to 253.01. If we miss and we're trading inside the zone, we're looking at 210 expected move, right? Just calculating based on the expected move. This 221 is going to be the key level here, the last line of defense. If we break this, let's see, it's going to take to 208. What do you think? Let's check. Let's check this real quick. $208. This 208 is that gap close, guys. If we miss, we may see this gap closing. So I'll be looking at 208.91, 210, 214 as the downside target on an earning miss. All right, let's go to the next one. YUM. Didn't I see that already? YUM. I had an alert here for some reason. Probably wanted to short the retest of this, but it didn't trigger. If it's pre-market, TOS doesn't trigger alerts, which is annoying. But look at that base on the zone. Right there. That was a nice one. Right now, we're looking like this is a cup, right? Now we need our handle. Maybe we can get a retest to here and form their handle or push up. I would accept a retest to the top, but I would prefer a retest to here. Although if you retest 98, what is this, 98.74, I'll be still okay with it. Not so happy about it, but I'll still be okay if we can dip here and hold. What will happen though is that if I enter a long position here, I'll most likely take a partial, on the retest of this zone here, and then see if I can break and hold and then complete the handle to the upside. That would be a deeper handle that I wanted, but if it does like this, and then I will enter and looking for a move to 102.96. But again, taking a partial near that $100 mark. Let's see, intraday. Right there at $100 mark. So yeah, those will be definitely levels I'll be taking my partials. first over here, and then if we can get to here, another partial most likely, or a trail if you prefer. If you want to give it a shot, put it below the zone and see if you can go. Let's see. If we lose this, then we'll be looking at a retest of this 97.16, 97.66. And that will be our last line of defense. BOING. As you guys can see, I always start my analysis with the higher time frame. Oh, that broke real nice from this trend line. It just couldn't break the pivot. We drew this trend line, it was on Sunday prep, which was when? 24th, I think. 24th. So when we drew this trend line, we said that we wanted to hold this zone here. It bounced right from there. And so you took your long in there, you made some nice profits, about 5 points up. That was a nice trade. If you follow the way I teach how to trade, you'll be stopped out once we couldn't hold the upper resistance zone, which we marked it was right here. But we couldn't push it. You could have stopped out right below it. So that was a nice trade. Now we broke this trend line and we are looking at this next zone right now. It really needs to hold here. The key resistance is going to be right here. So from here to here is about 4 points. You can play the range if it ranges in there. So if you come back here, sell here, buy here, sell here, until it makes a decision, and then you trail that based on the same concept as here. Just put a stop right below it once you break and hold this. And then you're looking at a retest at 370, 364. If we can hold this, we're looking for a retest of 360, 43, 360, 93. So bond gives always a lot of range. You can make money to the upside, you can make money to the downside. Tomorrow's main zone is going to be 366, 83, 366, 89. Sophie likes BA. Nice. Like BA to the upside, Sophie, or downside? Upside. Yeah, until it holds this on, we're looking for more upside on this. Let's delete this. Our cycle is down. It's getting to a support. This is the 50-day moving average on the daily chart. So the 50 DMA. This is the 200 DMA. So we're below the 200, above the 50. They're both kind of sideways with no direction. So just play the zones. Yeah. BA Tesla. I can say Tesla is on a buy zone already, because I already checked that. Really like Tesla. So this is the thing on Tesla. We kind of stay inside the zone right here. I personally like a bargain, so I was looking for this, the 321.62 big O. Let me change something. 321.62 through 22.70 is the key support, last line of defense, doomsday line, as you, if you guys prefer. So I was looking for bargain down here, because if it breaks, I'll know right away if I am wrong, and I'm going to cut for a very small loss. If I am right, I'm going to make a lot of money on the retest of the 328. But so far is holding that. The key resistance, though, is going to be 333.47. Where is it? 333.87. That's going to be the key zone to break. And once that breaks, we have another one at 335.46, 337.79. So we have a lot of overhead until we break above 338. But again, that's about $2 up. That's more than enough. So key resistance right here, key support is going to be right here. So watch for those tomorrow. We have a very nice reaction to the bottom of this zone twice, over here and here. So let's see if we can stay above it in order for us to grab a 333.47, 333.87 retest. Well, I have not been swinging Sophie stocks since the tweet era. So I only swing something like natural gas or something like that. That doesn't matter what Trump says. It's just supply and demand of natural gas. But if you are intending to swing Tesla based on the zone, I would recommend getting something 2-3 weeks out for sure. First, it's gonna move slowly. So if you're wrong, you're not gonna lose as much. And if it goes up, once you're in the money, you're gonna make as much as the same amount as a contract that expiring this week. Once the contract is in the money, it doesn't matter when it expires, they're both gonna move the same. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for Tesla. If we break this, I will be waiting with my arms wide open at 321.62, 322.70. If we get in any speed bump and bounce, I don't care. If it doesn't reclaim this or it doesn't get down here, I am not going to go long on this. Let's see. But I really like that how he held this. You could even argue if this broke a bear flag right there, and this was just a retest, and then we're gonna go test here. So that's something to watch and see. I would just wait for the zones to minimize your risk and maximize your win. Guy, I'm receiving a few messages in Discord. I can't check both at the same time. So if you want to talk to me about something, just please post in the Zoom chat. That would be the easiest way. Tiffany. So the question that I noticed in the chat was that Tiffany has earnings and how that can be, how it will react after a buyout. Well, it's still trading publicly, so it's going to react the same as other stocks. If we beat earnings, most likely we're going to go up. If we miss on earnings, then most likely we are going to go back down. Now this is the key support zone: 129.90, 130.44, 131.04. Next week, we really want us to stay above 133.40. If we can stay above 133.40, most likely we're going to retest this bottom zone. So if you want to get puts or short the stock, you can't do it to here. Just make sure to take your partials in case we bounce, right? Remember, this is a strong zone. We can always bounce from here. If you want an early entry, watch for 133.66, 133.69. We are trading above it. If we can hold this, we are going to 133.87, 133.91, 134. Now, these are all speed bumps. We are looking at 134.20 as a better level for us, a strong level, and 134.50. Now, one thing to notice about the speed bumps is that on a normal day that we'll have no news, that the stock is just going up or trending up or ranging, is that usually we don't pass the second level of the speed bump. So that would be 134. And if we get to 134.25, that will be considered overextended for the day. So we may see, if we get here, we may see a pullback. Now, one thing also you have to think, everybody that was long here at $100, if you were long personally at $100, would you risk holding into earnings, thinking that you're up $33 per share, about at 33% of your investment? Would you? I don't know if I would. Mostly on Tiffany, that is notorious for missing earnings. So think about that. Look at that gap. Imagine you're longing this from way down here. Would you hold and risk your money into earnings? I wouldn't. So we could see that sell into earnings. So watch for this 129.90, 131.04. If we lose that, let's see. Where is it? 130. Oops. I think I did something wrong. Yeah, 128.63. So we're right about over here. Right about over here, which is almost midpoint. Another partial here and see if you can get 125.96. As you guys can see, look how many wicks we have on that pivot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So be careful with this 125.96 when it gets there. If it gets there, right? What is the expected move? $1.46. There is no way Tiffany is gonna move $1.46 into earnings. There's no way, no way, no way. Why is it so low? 9.72%. Is there something missing? This is awkward. 9.72%. Yeah, they're gonna update these numbers. I doubt that it's gonna stay there. Is there any news saying that Tiffany is not gonna be traded publicly anymore? Let's check. Just checking real quick. Yeah, I don't see it. All right, if you guys know anything about it, just let me know. All right, so that will be it for Tiffany. SLB. Again, I'll say if Tiffany is publicly traded by earnings, I will doubt that it's going to move only $1.50. If trade is going to keep if Tiffany is going to be keep trading publicly, that's not realistic. Something is wrong with those contracts. All right, so SLB, we have dividends coming, 12.3. So remember, on dividends day, calls get cheaper and puts get more expensive. Then it just balance out during the day, but that's how they open. Don't be surprised over there. So this is our key zone here to the downside. That's 35.17, 35.53. If we can't reclaim 36.45, then most likely we're gonna come back down and retest this zone right here. So our key resistance is gonna be this here. 36.20, 31, 36.45. Break above it, we see a 37, 75, 37.96 is the next SS zone. Right there. This is going to be an S zone here. 36.98, 37.14. If we break below this, below this here, we are looking probably around here. 34, 37. I want to say 33.71, 34.37, right around here. Let's see, ET. You can never trade ET before. I've traded EW, not ET. Energy transfer. Oh, that's it. Yeah. Okay. Let me grab. I need a pivot color. Mark it up. No cats anymore. Yeah. All right. Key resistance is going to be 1185, 1194. If we can't reclaim that, we're going to test 1167, 1147, which is going to be the last line of defense right there. We have a trend line as always that goes near that last line of defense. So that's something to watch. This 1228 is a very strong level. You guys can see here, here, here. So that's a pivot to watch for sure. That's the one to beat. Now, what we could be doing here is either bear flag or we are stair stepping into a breakout. Just need to stay above here. If it doesn't stay above this, it's not going to go. Then probably fail this 1270, come back down, needs to hold, and then test the 1290, 13 level. If we break below this, again, 1147 is going to be our last line of defense. That's what I'll be watching on this Monday. Watch that level. 1185 to 1194. Last line of defense, 1147, 1155. Let's check IRBT. This was from a previous class I was doing. Let me remove. Okay. So that's our most important level right there. Let's make it a zone. So our key support zone is 4283, 4330. We are below every single time frame. Let me check real quick. It's all right. You guys don't need to worry. I know what I'm looking for. Yep. Big O is at 149. Big O is so far. So we are bearish on every single time frame we have, but this is definitely due for bounce. We're right here. How big O is here? 86, 85. So this is from here before. Yeah, I would wait for maybe a higher low or a trend break, but it is looking good on the daily chart. Right there, see? Yeah, this doesn't look bad actually. But you have to be aware that this is a lower low, right? So if you decide to go long, have a stop loss right below this pivot zone, 4283, 4330. I will not let go too much because it can it can't really go lower. Mark this one. If you really want to give it a chance, give it to that one. Another 60 cents. But I really wouldn't like it to, I would prefer just to close it and see if I can get another bounce like this, another, setup that shows potential to bounce. The key resistance is going to be 44.81. Then 46.27, 47.28. So that's something to watch. This is interesting. If you just keep on watch based on this candle, if you want to watch a 4-hour candle, that's also valid. If you enter, you can have your stop loss right below this candle. I will keep my stop loss still below the zone, right around here. But technically, if it breaks this 4-hour candle, most likely it's going to continue the downtrend. We need a break above and of the previous candle. So 44.10-ish, 44.81 first resistance zone, 46.17, 46.54 the next one, then 47.23, 47.47. StarBucks. Rejection. Right there. Yes. So our key support is going to be the same. Oops. It's 8. It's going to be right there. It's going to keep the same as before. Right now we'll be retesting the previous resistance. Remember, this was the key resistance. Right now we'll be retesting it. So it really needs to hold this for another leg up. So we reject, we came from our key support. Remember right here, we came from it, push, rejected, which is normal, came back down. We are testing this. We ideally wanted to hold, and then we can have another leg up. The next resistance zone will be 87.47, 87.76, 88.11. Let's mark it up right here. Now, if it goes lower than this, your last line of defense is going to be 84.40. You really don't want to go lower than that. If you don't have a position and it breaks there, keep an eye on that zone. Let me mark it up right here. Remember that once below here, this may become resistance again. So if we give up on this, it may just do something like this. So keep it tight if you decide to buy on this lower zone. ZM. Oops. That's what happens when you use the wrong tool. So on ZM, this is our key resistance zone right here. 74.50, 75.04. Sophie's funny. So what you have to be careful is not to have a bear flag. Be careful bear flags, Sophie. So we have this, and we have this, and we have this. So if we can't stay above that zone, most likely we're gonna do something like this, retest here. The zone is gonna be 71.20, 71, how much is this? 71.90. That's gonna be our last line of defense. Right there. If we can reclaim, our next key zone is gonna be 77, 79, 78, 44. That looks solid. This is very important. This is gonna be rough. Hopefully, if you can gaps up and then hold the back test, we get a nice push to 77, the high 77s. Slow down. You're ready? Well, it's a recording, Sophie. You can go back on the replay and pause it. ROKU. Well, Sunday Prep banked on this last week. We banked. This was our pattern. This was our key support. We had multiple tests near there. So you had time to grab it for the run, right? It stretched inside our zone. Remember, our zone was, the key resistance was here. It stretched into it, but it couldn't hold. Your stop loss per rules of our trading would be right below over here. We can say 167. If you want to give the whole number, it could be a little bit low. If you wanted to give the bottom or the top of the zone, that's fine either. You still made a lot of money. So right now, let me remove all this stuff. I'll keep the bottom one though. We are trading below key resistance. I'm gonna have a zone on top of zone because I don't like big zones. Our key resistance is gonna be 161.04, 161.42, 162.24. Right there. If we can't break above that, most likely we're gonna retest this 156.43, 157, the same zone we bought, oops, the same zone we bought last week. Right there. If we can break and hold it, then we're gonna have again the same resistance we had last week. 163.64, 165.80, 77. Excuse me. So we have a lot of overhead in ROKU. It's still doing higher highs though. This one. Did we establish a channel on this or something? A wedge of some sort. Something like this. Then right there, fail and go back down maybe. We'll see if this plays out like that. But play the zones, key resistance right here. key support down here. If it doesn't hold, the last line of defense is going to be 152.81, 153.57. Below that, we're back to 140s, right there. So that would be on ROKU. This would be interesting. I'm going to leave those lines here just to see if that works, if it works that way. RVLV, Revolve Group. Action. Gotta love those pivots. Key support, yeah, I still support. It's the bottom is support because it's above it, but this is, so let's call this a key zone, right? If we break below it, most likely waiting for 15, low 15. If we break above it, we are waiting for the 1750 again. Yeah, so this is going to be the key zone right here. The top is going to be resistance until it breaks and hold. So we'll see if you can decide if you want to short, wait for a break and hold of this. If you want to go long, wait for a break and hold of this. You can risk long on the bottom. We stop right below it. You can risk shorting on the top. We stop right above it. It needs to make a decision. Doesn't have, is in between those two strong pivots. So it needs to make a decision where it's going to go to. I would just play the zone above and below. Blockout ends Wednesday on RVLV. What was the IPO price? It's below IPO price. Interesting. So what we know by experience and seeing live is that usually we have selling into the lockup day. And the problem is that this is below, way below the IPO. Well, if you're an investor, which usually the people that gets into this before, you're probably not going to sell your position. I wouldn't. If I believed in the company and invested at $40, I will not settle for 16. I'll give it more time, but we'll see what happens. You could have this as your how do you call the lock? It's lockout or lockup. The lockout line in the sand for selling into, and this one as your lockout buy into right here. So lockup date, if this breaks below, most likely it's going to go here. If it's a lockup, the lockout day, and this is above this and hold, most likely we were going to see buying coming in to the 2056, 2075. So this is going to be interesting to see because we didn't experience yet in the chat room the lockout when the stock is below the price of the IPO. So this is going to be on watch for sure. Can use as a teachable moment. So that was it for the stocks of the members. I have one stock today, which is SHOP. So, and I have Twitter too. So SHOP had great numbers, right? What I like about SHOP is that We are retesting the zone that it failed many times here, 1, 2, 3 here. So we are retesting that zone right there. With the news of the record-breaking sales on a Shopify, so I'm expecting to have a bounce from here. So we pushed and back down. Now we're retesting this. If this holds, most likely we're gonna have a leg up. So that's what I'm going to watch, this zone here. If we break this, I will have my last line of defense right here. 329.27, 331.02. That will be the last line of defense. Ideally, we want it to hold. Ideally, in a realistic world, this should gap up. And then we see a back test, maybe to 338.94 or something like that. That should be interesting if we can hold here. If you gap up above it, hold, then we can push to 340s, 350s. And that's about it. So would I short shop? You could take a scalp short if you want to, being aware that it can bounce here, right? It's all about being aware of what can happen, having realistic expectations. I short all the time strong stocks for pushes into zones and for quick scalps because it makes sense. If it's overextended, pushing strong to a key zone, it's gonna have a reaction to that zone, even if it momentarily, which you can capitalize on it. So you just have to be careful and be aware of the situation. Now, that was it, guys. I hope you had a great time. And, oh, Twitter, right? Almost forgot about Twitter. So Twitter has a cup formation. I have been calling Twitter for a member. He has been asking me daily about Twitter, and I have been calling levels on Twitter. I think it was from here, the 29s. So right now, this is the cup. We're gonna have a handle. We're gonna go back here and then go back to big O at 32.86. So that would be, that's a pattern I'm gonna be watching. The same one that we talked about, I think it was YUM, I wanna say YUM. It's like, are we gonna have that cup formation with a handle and a push higher? This is definitely our key support we're gonna be looking at, which is 3013, 3069, 3070, what is that? 3077. We don't want any lower than here. I at least don't want it any lower than this. And I'm looking for a push to 32 and eventually to big O at 32.86, 33. What was the last line for sure? You can, I'm gonna be posting the replay so you can check it, but let me show you real quick. The last line of defense is going to be 329.27, 331.02. I hope you guys enjoyed. I see you all for pre-market trading tomorrow, 7 a.m. EST. Have a great night and take care.